Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Lock, Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. I'm Hunter, joined as always by Konner. No Trevor today. Yeah, I don't understand why he didn't plan his trip around this. I left on Tuesday, like a man.
I thought he was just editing Imposter right now.
Yeah, we rotated Konner and Trevor out.
This happens every year. Every year, you and Trevor are gone back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, somehow.
It's so funny.
Somehow.
We're just kind of used to it at this point.
Yeah, well, I was here last week for Grip Lock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I left on Tuesday.
True. Wow.
Yeah. I plan my vacations around Grip Lock. It's not actually true. My family just decided to leave on Tuesday for whatever reason. I was like, yeah, we'll join you. Not a ton going on in the disc golf world until this morning when we saw a post that Kristin Latt might be retiring from disc golf. We'll walk through that. Gannon Buhr did tie the rating record. We'll walk through that briefly. There's also the highest rated 12-year-old ever in the PDGA.
Wow.
Missy Gannon's got a cast streak and all of that. But before we jump in, we normally don't talk current events ever on this show. And don't worry, we're not going to. But I did want to just mention one thing, because obviously last week we saw several things. We saw a shooting at a school. We saw the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and it was September 11th. All are big reminders of two things in my mind that I just wanted to briefly mention. One, that evil's very real in this world, that Satan's very present. And two, that you're never guaranteed tomorrow, because obviously the people who went to work on 9/11, Charlie Kirk at his rally, and as far as I know currently, the two students who were shot are in critical condition, but they were just going to school. And everyone in those situations expected the next breath and might not get it. And so I just wanted to briefly just say one thing that was on my mind, which first, when we're looking at that and we're thinking of that, Romans tells us, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. And all of us are sinners. So that's the evil, right? It's in all of us. All of us are sinners. And the next thing Romans tells us is the wage of that sin, the payment we're due of that, is death. And yes, that means death like we think, dying, but also an eternal separation from God. It's an eternal death, right? That's the payment we're due. But Romans doesn't stop there. It says, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. And it also states that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us, meaning while we're still living in our sin, while we're still evil, while we're still stiff-arming God, he sent his son to die for us, so that there is hope. Because while there's evil in this world, evil will be eradicated one day. And that's what the second coming of Christ at the end of the tribulation, and when he comes down and evil's gone forever. And if you surrender your life to Jesus, then you can be on that side. And that's what I was reminded of this past week. Is there's much more to life than disc golf, and we keep this show very light because I know a lot of you use this as your escape. And I don't want to remove that from you. I don't want to take that away. So that's why we don't talk about things very often. But with how heavy last week was, I felt it was a disservice to not say something, because there's just so much that happened. And like I said, the culmination being the 9/11 remembrance of all those lives lost 24 years ago now. So just wanted to briefly mention that, and now we'll get right back into disc golf and let your mind escape back to, well, disc golf, what a lot of you use to get away from the real world. And don't worry, we're not going to take that from you. So, disc golf, Kristin Latt, arguably one of, if not the greatest FPO player of all time, announced on Instagram early this morning. I got up at 5 to run. 5:30. I'm a runner, just to flex on you. I got up at 5 or 5:30 this morning to run, and she had already posted this. So wow. I don't know what time it was at her time. Obviously, she probably posted like afternoon. But early this morning, I saw this, and I thought I was dreaming for a second because I was reading these lines, and I was like, what? So I'm going to just read you her post. And then Latitude64 has also made a post. And then we'll dive into what this could mean, and we'll go down the different routes of this, right? So this is what Kristin said. I know I've been a little distant lately, but sometimes I need to retreat into my shell to get a better understanding of myself. After taking that time, I've gained clarity and made a decision that brings significant change to my life. I've decided to end my season for this year and not begin another one next year, with no conclusive plans beyond that. Before this season even began, I had been wrestling with inner conflict, whether to go on tour due to family matters. I thought I could set those feelings aside while competing, but I ultimately forced myself ultimately found myself facing multiple injuries and severe anxiety. This made me realize I don't currently have the capacity to maintain the same rhythm that change is not only necessary but long overdue. Deep down, I know my heart has been longing for it. Closing this chapter and stepping into the next has not been easy, but I feel at peace with my choice. I'm excited to create space for new experiences. I love playing disc golf and will stay active in the community, but looking to lean into other roles like organizing events with my husband and sharing my knowledge with others, while also having the opportunity to focus on my family and home. I'm deeply grateful for the many people and companies who are and have been by my side through so many beautiful years of my career. To my husband, who first believed I had what it takes to reach the top, your unwavering support means everything. To my best friend, Marja, who literally held my hand through thick and thin. What would I do without you? My biggest sponsor, Latitude 64, who made it possible for me to travel the world and compete on the biggest stage for nearly a decade. I couldn't ask for a better partner. And finally, my heartfelt gratitude goes to all my friends, family, and fans who have shown me so much love and support. You are incredible. Together, we've made it possible to turn something ordinary into a miracle. This will be my only statement on the subject for now. I'm choosing to focus on this new chapter and will share updates when I feel there's something more to say. Thank you for your understanding. So obviously the big piece of that
Very interesting.
is decided to end my season this year and not begin another one next year with no conclusive plans beyond that. So is it an official retirement? No. But it's possible, right? Because we do have confirmation that she currently is not planning to tour next year. And beyond that, who knows? She doesn't know. So this could be we might have seen the last of Kristin Latt as a Pro Tour player.
Yeah.
Latitude 64 also released a statement. They said since 2017, Kristin Latt's been an integral part of Latitude 64. In 2021, we signed a historic agreement with Kristin, and her career propelled forward. From world championships and into the future, Latitude 64 has and will stand by Kristin's side. As Kristin enters a new chapter in her career, we will forge a path sustainable to Kristin's new life direction. While Kristin may not be touring in the near future, Latitude 64 will continue to provide opportunities to support Kristin. Even though one chapter is closing, we look forward to what Latitude 64 will be able to accomplish with her in the next one. Kristin, it has been a privilege to be a part of your success on the biggest disc golf scene in the world. You have inspired not only us, but thousands of people across the world with your performances, but even more so with your smartness, warmth, and kindness as a person. We are more than certain you will continue to inspire others with this next chapter in your life. Okay. So, Kristin Latt, the first sign of this was it got posted on Facebook and everything that she had withdrawn from Throw Pink Women's, which was like kind of her, we thought she was going to play Throw Pink and Tour Championship, and that'd be it for this season. Mm-hmm. She withdrew from both of those. So people were like, oh, she's calling it quits on the season. So now we know she's calling it quits on this season and is not planning to play again next season, which is honestly, it's terrible for FPO. Now, there's two ways to look at this. One, I'm looking at this as a fan of the sport.
Okay.
As a fan of the sport, this is awful.
Yeah.
Right? This is a terrible decision. This is a terrible decision for FPO. This sucks. Mm-hmm. As a human, it sounds like she's making the decision she has to make. She wants to focus on family, and it's very commendable that she's able to step back and be like, I am one of the greatest FPO players of all time.
Yeah.
Basically, the only thing that's holding me from being called the greatest is being there long enough to have the stats to back it up. Uh-huh. And yet, whatever's going on, time away from my family, I have to spend months and months every year in another country. I'm willing to throw all that away for my family. And whatever else is going on. Mm-hmm. That, as a human, very commendable.
Yeah, extremely commendable.
Awesome. Yeah. But as a disc golf fan, this sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks. Right? Because also in FPO, what we were just now getting out of the Kristin dominance era, right? And what we were starting to see were the fruits of that era, where Kristin had inspired the next generation, the Silva Sardins of the world, and she had pushed the current generations, the Holland Hanley, the Missy Gannon, the Evelina Salonen, to these new levels where it wasn't the Kristin show.
Yeah.
It was still mainly the Kristin show when she played good, but we were starting to see little glimpses where, you know, people were coming in, and even when Kristin was at her best, people were able to compete with her. And then what also sucks about this is what is burned in our memory is the last month of Kristin's touring when she got overtaken by the yips.
Yeah.
And her putting disappeared.
Yeah.
And that's the last we see of Kristin.
Which it sounds like it could possibly
be
ever, because she wasn't fully in it.
Correct. Yeah, it makes sense.
It at least kind of gives us a little bit of a reasoning for the yips, which is nice to have.
It at least gives you context, but it does still suck to like that's the last
end
image
on that. Yeah,
because we and wrongfully so, but also rightfully so, put Kristin on this pedestal where she seemed untouchable. Because for years she was.
Yes.
It's just Kristin's the player who doesn't make mistakes. Kristin's the player who is like, when is the rest of FPO going to catch up to Kristin? And then all of a sudden we see her slip. And it's like she is human.
Yeah.
She is missing putts. And that's the last we see of her. So that all sucks.
Yeah.
And what I do want to look at is, if this is her retirement, is she the greatest? Because I think that eye test wise, this is always the hardest arguments, right? Eye test wise, I do think that Kristin Latt is the best FPO player to ever throw a disc. I think that when she was at her best, she was the most consistent. She had the forehand, she had the backhand, and her putter was great, and she was able to do it on all stages. Okay? But she doesn't have the stats. So how much do people weigh each of these things? Because if we look at it, she has a total of 102 wins, 161 podiums, 184 top 10s at 188 events total. Now, this includes A tiers, B tiers, C tiers. So that's everything, right? That's not just Elite Series and Majors. She played 70 Elite Series and Majors. She's a 7-time major champion and a 2-time world champion. If we look at just major and elite events, right, you have Paige Pierce leading with 68 total wins. It's not even close after that. Valerie Jenkins comes in second at 45. Katrina Allen at 38. Des Redding at 37. Then Kristin Latt at 27. A full 41 wins behind Paige Pierce.
Wow.
Main reason for this, she only had 70 starts. Paige has 198 starts. Kristin's win percentage is actually the highest in history, with the exception of Marie Elsner, who has 2 starts and 2 wins. But if you have to have a minimum of 5 starts, we'll say, that throws Marie out because she's only played twice. And you have Kristin with 70 starts, 27 wins, which is a 38.5% win percentage.
Wow.
Over Paige has a 34.3%. And then some other notable names we just read, like Valerie Jenkins has a 30%, Des Redding has a 29%, Juliana Korver 25%, and Kristin did it in the post-Paige era / Kristin's really the one that ended the Paige era.
Yeah.
So arguably a harder era to win in.
Because Paige didn't fizzle and then Kristin came about.
No.
I feel like the fizzling happened during Kristin's dominance.
Yeah, Kristin came in and from our eyes, stomped Paige out.
Yeah.
Is kind of what it felt like.
That is what it felt like.
Now, how much that's accurate and how much is that perception, I don't know, but that's what it felt like.
It felt like Paige was not used to getting beat by somebody, and then that kind of like shook her.
Yeah. Because then if we go just majors, again, you have Paige Pierce with 17 all-time major wins. Then you have Valerie Jenkins with 16 all-time major wins. And then you have Katrina Allen, Elaine King, Des Redding, and Kristin Latt all tied at 7. The tough part for some of these players like Elaine King and Des Redding and Juliana Korver, who has 6, is their careers overlap apart. And this is a similar thing when you look at Climo, where their careers overlap apart, where the national tour, for some of them, didn't exist for their full career, and majors were much more scattered. There might have been some years where there were 2 majors, whereas nowadays we have 4 majors every year.
Yeah.
Some years, heck, in 2015 we had 5 majors. But modern day, you get much more chances at majors, because if you look at it, Paige Pierce has not been playing the game nearly as long as Elaine King, but she has 46 major starts to Elaine King's 39. Same thing, Des Redding has 35. Juliana Korver only has 23 major starts. So there were less majors to play, so majors are a little bit tougher, whereas at least the Elite Series brings in, you get a little bit better numbers. Because then Juliana Korver had 87 major starts at least. Des Redding had 126. And Elaine King only had 78. Because, again, the national tour, which would have been Elite Series, didn't start until later in some of these players' careers. So the tough part for Kristin here in the GOAT argument is just the stats. Is because she just doesn't have the wins to back up. All we have is the eye test.
Yeah.
Like, we basically just have the eye test, and we have her statistics across her career as far as like her win percentage and stuff like that. But if this is it, if she does hang up the discs today and we never see Kristin tour again, I don't know if it's enough to call her the GOAT, unfortunately.
How many times did Kristin beat Paige versus Paige
question.
beat Kristin?
The only thing that Kristin does lead, I'll look that up right after this, in major and elite, which is just it's funny because, again, we just heard she has 41 less wins than Paige. 41 less wins than Paige. Yet she has made $42,000 more as a winner than Paige Pierce.
That's insane.
She's won 40 less times, but she's made $215,000 as a winner. Paige Pierce has made $173,000. It gets even crazier. If you look at major and elite, Missy Gannon's only won 14 times as a elite series or major winner, and it has $14,000 more than Paige Pierce in winnings.
Wow.
Paige has won 68, Missy's won 14, but Paige has only won 173,000. Missy's just won at the right times because those tour championships are elite series.
Well, big money Missy.
So, big money Missy. They call her that for a reason.
It makes a lot of sense.
That's
That's crazy.
I wonder if we you know what, because we don't have a lot to talk about today, I might look at this in MPO too and just see, like, is there anyone that's that criminal? I was
thinking the same thing.
Where, like, they're so far behind on wins but so far ahead in cash, because that's crazy. To only win 14 times, to be down, what is that, literally 54 win difference, and yet she's made $14,000 more.
That's insane.
That's crazy. Now, Paige, I believe, sorry, Missy Gannon is the all-time FPO Elite Series and Major cash leader at $355,000. Wow. Kristin's at $345,000, and then Paige at $332,000.
All pretty close.
But I mean, what's crazy about this is, like, if you look at top 20s, Paige Pierce has 188 to Kristin 69, and yet so she has 100 and what is that? 19 more top 20s, and yet has $13,000 less in earnings, total earnings. Wild. That just shows, like, how far disc golf's come in this, like, because Kristin really emerged on tour in 2019. I think it's when she won U.S. Women's the first time, if I remember correctly. That's when she kind of emerged on tour, and from then to now, the money has just exploded compared to when Paige was winning, which is really unfortunate for the older players, because you just peaked at the wrong time.
That's how life works.
That is.
How old is Kristin?
It's also a great question. She's not old. She's in her 30s.
Because my mind kind of...
She's 1992. She's 33.
Okay, so she's young. So my mind kind of goes to in this, and I don't think he necessarily had the same dominance era, but maybe he did, but it just doesn't feel like it because it was short-lived. It feels a little like Nate Doss. Whenever Nate Doss retired, how old was he? He was in his 30s.
He was in the young 30s, because Nate Doss now he's still relatively young. He just turned 40.
So he was probably around 30.
He was probably like 30. He didn't retire 10 years ago. He might have 2015.
I know. I kind of think he might have.
He probably retired at 30 to 33.
Almost, maybe the same age.
Probably similar to Kristin. And it felt very similar. Just like, it didn't. Yeah. Doss didn't have the GOAT argument around him because he didn't have a forehand. Yeah. There was a lot of parts holding his game back.
It's true.
But he had a lot of potential. Wins.
Like, it felt like his career was not done. Was nowhere close to done.
He came back and won. He has a Pro Tour win. I'm almost positive of it. I'm pretty sure he came back and won. He won Green Mountain Championships in 2017.
Wow.
Which I believe was a Pro Tour. I believe it was just an A-tier Pro Tour. But, I mean, he beat Ricky in 2017. I believe Paul Macbeth. That might have been one of the Paul Macbeth DNF tournaments. That was Paul's first career DNF. But, yeah, Nate Doss won that in 2017.
Dang.
So he, came back, but he never came back to tour. Because the other thing that's interesting in disc golf is Kristin is done, right, with touring. But that doesn't mean we won't see her play Worlds next year.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we won't see her play some majors. So there's this weird thing in disc golf of, retiring from tour doesn't mean retiring from us ever seeing them again.
Yeah.
Because, even though she has no plans for next year, when the Pro Tour comes over to Europe, who's to say she doesn't play all of those events? And we see her, she might have 4 Pro Tour wins next year, where she just shows up, sweeps the Europe and then it's like, I'm done.
Pretty likely.
And that would just be crazy.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, that's the type of thing that could happen where in other sports like the NBA, if you're like, I'm not playing next year, you're not just going to show up
for a game.
Yeah, it's not like you're just going to show up and play a game.
Mm-hmm.
And saying like the PGA Tour, you saw sponsor exemption, so that could happen where like some players could, like Tiger Woods will play occasionally on the tour. Nowadays he probably doesn't, but Tiger Woods could do something like that. But like individual sports is the only time you see it where you can be like kind of partially retired. But typically when a player retires from a sport, they're done. Disc golf, that doesn't necessarily mean it. So head to head, Paige Pierce versus Kristin Latt. Kristin is 40-11 against Paige with 3 ties. So she's beat her 40 times, lost her 11 times, and they've tied 3 times across their entire careers, with 22 wins during that time going to Kristin. So 40 wins, 11 losses, 3 ties. So that means they both came in like 5th at an event or something.
Yeah.
During those events, the 54 events they played, Kristin totally won 22 of them, came in 2nd at 17 of them, and 3rd at 4 of them. She has 100% top 10 events at events that both Kristin and Paige were at, and beat her by 360 some strokes. Their first time facing
heavily in Kristin's favor on this little scale here.
Correct.
Yes.
So the first time they faced each other was back in 2017 at U.S. Women's, where Kristin came in 7th, Paige won. They then faced at a few European events, 2018
Worlds. I don't remember even knowing her name back then.
No, you wouldn't have heard her name until 2019. 2019 is the first time I heard Kristin Latt's name because she won Canadian.
You didn't hear Kristin Latt's name.
I heard Kristin Tatar. She won Canadian Nationals. I didn't really hear it. I mean, Maple Hill in 2019, she came in 2nd at. In August, so we might have heard of her then. We probably would have because she would have been on lead card. But the first time I distinctly remember it was U.S. Women's because that was in Virginia, in Spotsylvania, which is just outside Richmond. And she beat Paige by 4 at U.S. Women's, and it felt like, wow, this might be the future. The 2020, we didn't really see her. 2021, she comes back in, and that's when she wins D-Glow. She won Preserve. And then obviously kind of the rest is history because then, since then she's been touring fully and it's just been the Kristin Tatar show, now the Kristin Latt show, where she was just winning everything in sight. So yeah, head to head, Kristin dominates Paige. But again, Paige had such a dominant era before Kristin from like 2011 into 2019. That when Kristin took over, because Kristin's like, yeah, she was sponsored by Latitude 64 for almost a decade, but she really only fully toured for like 5 seasons. Because we had, in 2019, I don't even think she really fully toured. So yeah, we had like the 2021, 2022, 2023, but really 2022 and on. Like we only saw Kristin for such a short window.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so hard is like she built up these career stats in such a small window. Because let me look at her PDGA page here and see like when, I don't think she fully toured until 2022. Because 2019 was the first time we heard of her. And yeah, she wasn't fully touring. She basically came over at Worlds and went 6th at Worlds, 2nd at Maple Hill, won Canadian Nationals, came in 2nd at Green Mountain, won U.S. Women's. That was her season in 2019. 2020, like I said, we basically didn't see her. She only played 7 events. That was COVID year, obviously. 2021, we saw her at Worlds, and then she played like the second half of the season, it looks like. She basically started her season as far as touring goes in June. So yeah, 2022 is her first actual tour. And that's when, I mean, she kind of lit it up that first year. And then, so we really only got 3 full touring seasons out of Kristin.
That's so crazy.
2022, 2023, 2024. Because in 2025, she full toured up until July.
Mm-hmm.
So she's missing this whole second part of the season. So yeah, really we got 3 full touring seasons out of Kristin. And it's like, that's the biggest argument I think for Kristin is the greatest of all time. Is like she racked up these stats in such a small window.
Yeah.
Because even like her first major happened in 2019, but then 2020 she didn't play. So we really have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total seasons of her playing major and elite series events at all.
Yeah.
But really only 3 of them are fully touring. And she still was able to do this.
You would just feel so much stronger about it if she ended that way.
Yeah, if she this
That's
season,
the hard thing.
if this was, because what was her dominant year? Was that 2023? Was that when she just mopped the floor with everyone? I think so. Yeah, I think 2023. If this was 2023 and she just went through that and had arguably one of the greatest seasons of all time, then I think you'd feel a little bit different. But because 2024, she didn't sweep the majors, she still won a lot of them. And in 2025, she didn't win a major this season. She came in second at Champions Cup, came in sixth at U.S. Women's, came in second at European Disc Golf Festival, and then DNF'd at Worlds. So she didn't win a major this season.
She still played really well.
She still, that was the thing.
It's just that she didn't win everything, so it felt like she wasn't doing that well.
She won Waco,
but she
won Music City,
well.
she won Kona Day, and she came in second at Open at Austin, Champions Cup, Ale Open, Preserve, the European Disc Golf Championship, which is not a tour event, but all of Europe played. PCS Open she came in second at, and the European Disc Golf Festival. And her worst finish that wasn't a DNF was sixth.
Never mind. She still crushed.
Yeah. It was just at the end.
You just, there's some images that you can't get out of your head.
Correct. Because she should have won the European Disc Golf Festival. If she could make a 10-footer.
I am willing, I completely buy the whole context of everything, and I think she was just, since she was already kind of, feels like mentally she was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and that just she didn't have the dominance mindset that she, whatever you call Kristin's version of beast mode, but she didn't have that because her mind was kind of half and half. So I'm willing to accept that and be like, that still is that's why all that was happening. It's not that she started to crumble or anything, but it still is hard to let her go on that mental image.
Yeah, no, I think it'll end up being one of those ones that the people, us, if you're listening to Grip Lock, you're a diehard disc golf fan,
us
right?
Peoples.
Us in this era where we've been watching disc golf for the last 4 or 5 years, we will be the people who even throw Kristin's name into the hat as one of the greatest of all times a decade from now. If this is assuming she retires, which that's not official. Right, she could come back 2 seasons from now, but assuming this is it, and she is done, a decade from now, we'll be everyone will be talking, arguing about freaking Silva Saarinen versus Paige Pierce versus Elaine King, all of this, and we'll be the ones going, you can't just leave Kristin off that list.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? Kristin Latt has to be on that list.
Why is everybody taking Kristin off the table?
Yeah, and it's if you watched her play, you have that. It's similar to people who try to put Kobe Bryant into the greatest of all time argument. Is the only people that are going to try that is people who watched Kobe Bryant play. If you weren't alive and didn't watch Kobe Bryant play, or you weren't interested in basketball, then you're just looking at stats, and you're going to have to dig to find Kobe Bryant
there's
stats.
Definitely a feel whenever you watch a player who's just killing it out there.
That's what I'm saying. When you watch Kristin, you know what you were watching was the greatest FPO player of all time.
Whenever you watch her, you watch her and this is the best female disc golfer there's ever been.
Yeah. I've seen the coverage.
Yeah, you just know.
I know.
You just know.
But you can argue until you're blue in the face. You can't prove it.
It is very much. It's fun though.
It is fun.
It adds a fun little aspect.
So again, as a human, I think that it's great. I think Kristin's taking a step back, doing what she needs to do for her. As a disc golf fan, this sucks.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I wish she was still playing in FPO. I wish she could figure it out. And I wish she was out there because it hurts the sport.
She made the whole field better.
Yeah. So I'm excited for where FPO is. I'd be a lot more upset if this was 2023 and Kristin left, because then it would be well, dang, we had nothing right now because Kristin just stomped all these people, and now we know there's someone out there. At least now there's that doubt where it's Silva's phenomenal, Holland Hanley's great, Missy Gannon's playing good, Owen Scoggins is having a heck of a season to close, Paige Pierce has had flashes of greatness, Evelina Salonen has had flashes of greatness. At least there's that where we're not left empty. But we will miss Kristin. So hopefully she's able to figure it out next season, and whatever it is she needs to figure out, and maybe we can see her again in 2 years.
I'm interested to see, because all of it kind of felt like it was alluding to something. Not they weren't trying to give anything away, but it felt like there was kind of a plan going on, and so I'm very interested to see what it is that she ends up doing.
Yeah.
Because it feels like she kind of she wants to continue on with something.
Well, I know pre-2019, her and Silver, they did a lot with they had a disc golf, I forget what it's called, but they used to always wear it on their clothes. They had a disc golf academy type of a thing.
Gotcha.
Where they just trained disc golfers,
mm-hmm.
And did events. So I would assume they'll have a lot of success doing that still.
Yeah.
That might still be what silver does. I'm not 100% positive. So I would assume that that's part of it, that they can go back to doing that. And then, I'm sure a big part is just wanting to be home with her daughter.
Yeah, for sure.
And all of that. So if it allows her to still make a career she loves playing disc golf in some way, shape, or form, and she gets to come home and sleep in her own bed and, send her daughter off to school the next morning every day, then, it's hard to argue with that.
Oh, absolutely. No, yeah, for sure. What does it mean for Latitude? It probably is something like that, because it's just that Latitude was very clearly like, we will continue to support Kristin, and like, I wonder what that kind of means, because if she was just leaving disc golf, then that wouldn't be the case, obviously.
She's definitely, yeah.
So like, I'm sure they'll probably, I would assume that Latitude probably will
we'll
help
probably
them
still
in that.
see Kristin discs.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was with Latitude before she was fully touring. I'm sure they won't sign her to $125,000 a year again, because it won't have the same impact. But
rude.
I'm sure they'll still support her. So yeah, that's the big storyline. But let's jump into fan favorite segment, Trevor's Trivia. Without Trevor, we're gonna try it again right after these messages. Okay,
Sporkle.
No.
Let's just read like a short story.
No, I think you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
I put this right in your wheelhouse.
Okay.
We're going back to 2016.
Oh wow.
So
Those were the
2016 was the year that basically it was either Paul won or Ricky won.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is they went head to head 13 times that season, and one of the two of them won 10 of them.
Okay.
3 events, neither of them won.
Okay.
So we're just going to play a game called Ricky, Paul, Neither.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to just tell you the event from 2016, and you tell me who won. Ricky,
Okay.
Paul, or neither.
Okay.
And then there's no real winning or losing. We're just going to see how good you are
that's
at this.
fun. That's fun.
All right. It all started back then at the Memorial Championships.
The Memorial.
2016 Memorial.
2016. We're kicking off 2016. It's the Memorial. Can you tell me what the course it was at? Or is that allowed?
Memorial.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking ahead to other things. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I can tell you what course is for future reference.
Okay.
But Memorial, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
those of you who don't know, it's Fountain Hills and Vista.
I feel like this is Ricky. I'm gonna say Ricky.
And it was Paul.
Dang it!
This is when they still called it the McMemorial.
You're right.
So 0 so far.
I felt like I could feel it being Ricky energy, but I was wrong.
Next up, we have the Glassblown Open. Modern day DDO. Modern day not on tour.
I'm going to get every one of these wrong. That one feels like Paul to me.
That was a neither.
Oh, okay.
That was a neither. So
all right.
That's one of 3 though.
I'm going basically off of feel here.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay.
Next, we go out west to the Steady Ed Memorial Masters Cup.
Oh,
Steady Ed. I do believe this was at De La.
Gotta be Paul.
Paul?
Yeah.
No, it was Ricky. Over 3.
De La just screams Paul to me.
All right, now we're flying over to Europe for the European Open, the Disc Golf World Tour stop number 3.
Paul.
That was Paul. All right, you got 1. Then we come back over to the States. Side note, looking at their touring schedule of where they were going, the Pro Tour has drastically saved these guys because this is brutal. So they played the European Open on June 2nd, and then they came to Oregon on June 10th to play Beaver State Fling. And then I'll say where they go next after that. But Beaver State Fling. You have 1 correct so far. Who won?
Beaver State Fling.
BSF.
Ricky.
Correct. Boom. Got 2 right. Then they go all the way across the country to the Vibram Open at MVP. They went from freaking Oregon, and they had 13 days to get to Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Wild. So Vibram Open, which is now the modern day MVP Open.
Yes.
Maple Hill.
That just it so gives Paul vibes to me. I'm gonna go Paul.
Paul Macbeth. This is the second of neither.
Oh, who
second
won?
One neither. 2016, was that Chipmunk Gate?
Was it? That seems so long ago.
Yeah, Bradley Williams in a playoff again. It was so
Wow.
long ago. It was 9 years ago. That was Chipmunk Gate.
Crazy.
2016 was Chipmunk Gate. So Bradley Williams won in a playoff against Michael Johansson.
Okay, I wouldn't have yeah, okay.
Okay, then we go back over to Europe for the European Masters Disc Golf World Tour event number 4. Don't ask me what course this one's at. I don't know.
You're good. It's in Europe. It's that Europe course.
Yeah.
The green one. I'm gonna go with Paul.
This was Ricky.
Dang it!
You've gotten 2 right so far.
I'm killing it. But they were back to back though, so it felt cool.
Then we come back to Minnesota for the Majestic.
Ricky.
That's Ricky, yeah. Then 2016 Worlds.
Oh, frick. Paul.
No.
Oh, was it?
This
Dang
is
it.
the Ricky's first.
I confused 16 and 17 so much.
Ricky also won 17. So.
Oh, well, then I was just wrong all around.
Because Paul went 12 through 15. Ricky went 16, 17.
He did 15.
Barsby 18.
Yeah.
Paul comes back in 19.
Dang. Bummer.
All right. Next we have Ledgestone Insurance Open.
Paul.
That is Paul. Yep. You have 4 so far. Then
Was that whenever the disc was stuck in the side? No, that was later. That was like
It could have been that
2018.
year.
I don't know.
It was probably 2018.
I think it was 2018.
He wasn't with Discraft yet.
No.
Then we go to the Brent Hambrick Memorial.
Ricky.
That was Paul. Dang. 2 events left.
Okay, I got this.
There's a hint out there for one of these 2, if you can think of it. Think through it.
Well, yeah, one of them is not either of them.
Correct.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you were tracking that.
No, I was tracking.
So you got a 50-50 shot.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the Green Mountain Championship.
Can I know both the last ones?
Well, I think you know what the last event of the year is.
Oh, yes. Okay, you're right. Oh, shoot. I don't know who won it.
2016 Green Mountain Championship.
Green Mountain, I'm going to say Ricky Wysocki.
Correct.
Yes!
So then USDGC.
None.
Neither.
Yeah.
You got 6 for 13.
Who won in 16?
I think that was Sexton.
Yeah.
No, Coling.
Oh.
It was Big Germs. That's the Hurricane Matthew.
That was Stormy USDGC.
Yeah, Hurricane Matthew came through in 2016, ended it early.
Matthew won USDGC in 2016.
Ricky Wysocki technically lost by 5, but I don't remember why. I don't know if he'd already started his final round. I just remember there was like something in the air that we all thought Ricky was winning that year.
I mean, I don't know who won any of those events really. I really just went off of, oh yeah, this was here. What does that feel like? And I was pretty bad at it.
You were almost 50%.
Okay, that's not that bad. I mean, that's a passing grade, right?
In
I don't know. I was homeschooled.
Modern day school, it might be. I saw they adjusted.
I wasn't homeschooled, by the way.
I'm gonna look this up. Grade. Scale.
My kids are gonna be homeschooled. We're gonna be like, look, this is a tree. Go cut it down.
See if I can. Or
look,
modern
this is
day
grass. Mow
modern
it.
grade. Yeah. I saw this earlier and it made me mad.
Modern.
I don't know if this is.
scale?
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. Not that. School. Golly.
It's in your
I
best
suck at
interest
Google.
to not get me going on school hunt.
Okay. No, this isn't. This is how I remember it. So this isn't right.
Okay. You're probably thinking of like a specific region.
I don't know. I just saw where they
That
had
will remain
adjusted
nameless.
it. I just saw where they had adjusted it where like I think that like a 65 was like a C. And like when I grew up, a 65 was an F. You're done.
Yeah.
A D is fine. I can deal with 65 being a D, but 65 being like a C, I was like, what?
Yeah,
Like, you
that's
could get
crazy.
like you could, and wherever this was, you could get like a 80 something and still have an A. And I was like, an 80? Like you missed so much. It's not
Yeah,
an
that's
A.
crazy.
An
That's
A to
crazy.
strive for. Kids graduating with freaking 4.0s are stupid. Anyways, Gannon Buhr, our mathed last week. It was right. The prediction thing worked out, unfortunately for Gannon,
Mathematicians.
because he's 1062. So he has currently tied the all-time highest rating, meaning he has one more rating update to break it. Because he wants to get a 1063. Paul Macbeth has gotten the 1062.
He's going to. There's no way. He has that fire in his eyes. He wants it.
You would imagine.
I am.
You would imagine that he would do it.
I'm imagining that.
But it's so hard. I mean, even in modern day. So if we look
But
at...
he wants it so bad, Hunter.
Well, you can want a lot of things. If we look at... So D-Glow from last year still has to come off. And he went 1050, 77, 83, 41. So I don't think D-Glow from this year's on yet. So that's one thing to consider. Then he has this Q series he played pretty freaking good at. That's going to be tough for him. He went 90s, 1096, 1073, 1088. That's going to come off. Whew. This one's going to hurt him. Okay, he's not doing it. Hunter Thomas official statement.
Hunter.
He went at Green Mountain Championship last year, which is what he's going to this year. He went 1077, 1058, 1107, 1042. That all comes off. Dropping an 1100 rated round, never going to help your case. And then MVP Open 1037, 1069, 1037, 1075. So there's a lot of room for improvement there. And then the Pro Tour Championship, he played pretty good at too. Man. But the Pro Tour Championship
because it'd be
off.
hard, like
he has to improve on all of these.
Yeah, okay.
So all this comes off. He has to do better than this body of work. So let me just. I think I still have this.
I think he does it. I believe, as someone who is not looking at the numbers and barely understands them, I think he's going to do it.
Yeah. Why can't I? Did I not manage extensions? Do I not have the? I just did it last week. Was I on a different Chrome profile or something?
What this does mean is that he's got spite in his eyes, and that is bad news for everybody else in the field.
Okay, this is where I need to be.
Because it's bad news to be a person on that field right now that Gannon doesn't Gannon doesn't even think you exist.
That's what we've talked about.
You don't matter right now. He's just playing against one thing, and that's his own
He's
rating.
not looking at you. Yeah.
No, and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Let me see if I can... how do I could remove rounds at some point. I don't remember how I did it. Dang it, Hunter. How did I remove rounds? Round dropped of below 10-12. That's crazy. There is a way to remove rounds. Included. No, I don't want that included.
You're doing so good right now.
Dang it. There was a way that I could remove rounds last time, and I don't know if I can anymore.
Are we still going to look at the cache for MPO?
Oh, we do need to look at that. Okay, I was going to delete all of these rounds off, but I can't. So I don't know how to do that, unfortunately. That's really unfortunate for me because I really wanted to see that. But oh well. Okay. Never mind. I'm not gonna be able to tell you guys. I was gonna remove these rounds and see if it did anything to them. But I don't think I can. Which sucks. Wah, wah. Okay. Let's go over to StatMando. Let's take a look at this.
StatMando.
While we're talking ratings, I do want to mention Tanjul Mehain, I believe is how you say his name, from Estonia, is now rated 995, making him the highest rated 12-year-old PDGA player ever.
Let's go.
So the next Gannon Buhr, I don't know. I think Gannon Buhr was the guy. He was the one that was setting all of these stats back in the day of like Gannon was the highest rated this, whatever. It was always Gannon Buhr. So now we'll see. Tanjul. We'll see what he's able to do. Okay.
Tanjul.
Let's look at MPO. Cash's winners. Let's see here. So yeah, you have it's not as criminal as FPO, but if you go Cash's winner, so this is money made winning tournaments, Gannon Buhr leads that all time at $291,000. He has 90 starts to Paul McBeth's 224, and he has 19 wins to Paul McBeth's 55, who Paul's in second.
Paul's still holding strong there.
It's only, it's still pretty crazy because there's, what is that separating? 36. Paul has 36 more wins than Gannon Buhr, yet made less money. But his total money earned, Ricky leads total money earnings at $673,000 at Elite Series and Majors. And Paul's right behind him at 614, and then you have Gannon at 485. The problem with Ricky and Paul, like when you're looking at this, is like Gannon has 77 top 20s all time. Across 90 starts, he's finished top 20 at 77 of them, which is crazy. But Paul McBeth has 203 top 20s across 224 starts. So like, yeah, he's made $130,000 more than Gannon because he has 130 basically more top 20 finishes. So it's just wild. Also, another interesting stat
Paul's
here.
win percentage is just so high for how competitive.
Yeah, so if you look at win percentage, you have Ken Climo leads the all-time win percentage at Elite Series and Majors at 26.6% across 120 starts. Then Paul McBeth has 224 starts, has 24.55% win percentage. And then Gannon Buhr has 90 starts, 21% win percentage. So both of them beat out guys like Barry Schultz, Dave Feldberg.
Shout out Jeff Watson.
Nate Doss, who just played in easier eras, yet still weren't able to win at the same rate that like Paul McBeth and Gannon Buhr. Gannon having a 21% win percentage in this era is crazy. But Paul having a 25% win percentage that extends into this era with 224 starts.
That's what's so cool about
crazy.
Paul's history in the sport is that he's played through a lot of eras.
He's played through 3 eras.
Yeah.
So.
And one of them was his own.
His era.
Yeah.
The Paul era. let's actually look also Stat Zone. I just want to see major stats, MPO. Because if we look just majors, obviously Paul's one behind Kenny.
But it does make you think that it is also really impressive that Gannon's win percentage is 21%, only a couple points lower than Paul's, and he's winning right now.
Yeah, well, that's
the field now is insane.
Paul has Ken Climo has 55 starts, 32% win percentage. Paul McBeth has 57 starts, 29% win percentage. So 2 more starts, 1 less win than Kenny. And then you have Gannon Buhr with 15 starts, 4 wins, making it a 26% win percentage. So Paul with 57 starts has a higher win percentage in majors than Gannon.
What we were just looking at, the starts were at like 200 and something.
That was Elite Series and majors. This is just majors.
This is just majors. Okay.
Yeah. And then Isaac Robinson, 19 starts, 4 wins, 21% win percentage. But I mean, still, if you look at like cash earned, Paul leads that. Cash is winner, Paul leads that. Like in MPO, Paul McBeth was just so dominant for so long, and the money was already, like, the money in MPO is higher than the money in FPO because there's more players. So therefore, Paul winning events won more money. So it's not nearly as criminal as we were looking at. But I mean, what is wild is like Isaac Robinson has won 4 times and has made $90,000 across those 4 wins.
That's crazy.
Paul McBeth has won 17 times and has made $127,000 across those wins. So it's like,
wow. So the difference there is not like
it's only 37,000
for
even
how
though
many events?
13 events more. So it's like 3,000. Basically, it's like Paul only made $3,000 at the 13 events he beat Isaac at. Their cash average money per major for Paul, this will be interesting. So average money made per major, Gannon Buhr leads that at $8,655. So basically, if Gannon shows up to a major, he's making almost $9,000. Isaac is next at $6,968. Nicklaus is next at $4,755. Paul's all the way down at $4,035. So basically, the money has doubled. Even though, yeah, interesting stuff. Speaking of money,
sneaky money in disc golf.
One more thing. Speaking of money, we have Missy Gannon. She currently has the longest active cash streak on tour in either division. She's cashed at every elite event and major since the 2021 Worlds. So she's currently at 81 straight. 81 straight events she's cashed at.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I wonder, is this a
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I want to say, because the previous cash streak.
What's like an average lowest place to cash?
For FPO, you're probably looking like 17th, 18th.
That's still pretty good.
Let's go all time. So all time FPO cash streak, the longest ever was 139 by Katrina Allen.
Daggum.
Which it started in 2012 at the Memorial, and I don't know, it doesn't tell me when it ended. Oh, here it goes. Last cash date. So 2012 Memorial to 2022 Worlds. So over a decade straight, she cashed.
Wow.
Streak break date. Yeah. So for over a decade, Katrina Allen held it. So you have 139 for her, 127 for Val, 94 for Sarah Hokum, and then the longest active is Missy Gannon at 81. The next longest active is Ella Hansen at 67, starting in 2022 at Jonesboro. So, yeah, interesting ones there. And then in MPO, the longest one ever was Nate Doss from 2001 at Worlds, and it went to 2016.
Wow, come on, Doss.
Also at Worlds. So for 15 straight years, he held it.
How many events?
133.
Wow.
133.
Nathaniel.
So the current longest active one is Calvin Heimberg at 74. Started at Las Vegas in 2022. So Calvin's only 7 events behind Missy. The next longest active is Ricky Wysocki at 51. So MPO, those are both very impressive as well. But yeah, Paul McBeth had one that reigned from 2008 all the way to 2019 at GMC, and it ended at USDGC in 2019. Wow. So 124. So he was 7 events away, that USDGC, from catching Doss's all-time.
Dude, Nate Doss, let's go.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. 133. So that's the longest all-time is Nate Doss at 133. But there you go. Missy Gannon making history. She is, Katrina Allen's the longest all-time at 139.
Okay.
Doss is second at 133. Oh. So Missy Gannon just has to go for 58,
lot longer.
58 more events, and she can catch Katrina Allen. So we'll see if she can do it.
So, but hers is the longest active.
Yeah,
okay.
Longest active right now.
That's what we care about.
Yeah.
That's what we care about.
Because the second longest active would be Calvin Heimberg at 74. Then the third would be Ella Hansen at 67.
Just got one spot easier for her with Kristin being gone.
True. Or harder, because now you got to finish better to cash.
Those
goes
are points.
Both ways.
Those are points being
goes
made.
Both ways. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for our show today. A little bit shorter grip-locked episode, but, not much going on in the disc golf world. Let us know in the comments if you think this is it for Kristin, or if you think she makes a return. Is Kristin officially retired, or is it just a little season without Kristin? Who knows? We'll be back on Wednesday to give you the preview for the Green Mountain Championship, the first Disc Golf Pro Tour playoff event. We'll run through all of that. The end of the season is right around the corner, so you're not going to want to miss it. Tune in Wednesday. We'll talk to you then.